First, I have to just say what an honor and a privilege it is to be here to share my work with you guys. And I'm also no longer envious of my sister, who lived in this country for a year and has been pushing her 14 photo albums in my face for the last 3 or 4 years. So now I'm able to understand the beauty of this place. Let's see. When I'm not halfway around the world with 600 Kiwis staring at me, I am most often found in this room, sitting in this chair, staring at a wall, and just trying to convince myself that I have good ideas. I'm a firm believer that a good idea only comes while working on a bad idea, and I just have to get busy, and I just trust that something good will happen. I'm somebody that is known as a sculptor, but I really feel like I draw, and I just draw, and these drawings can come from a conversation I've had with somebody, a movie I've watched, a book I'm reading, a news story, a traffic jam in Los Angeles. I just try to stay busy and keep drawing. The landscape around me is often a giant influence, and every once in a while I will get hooked on these images and just decide that I have to build them. I'll get back to this project later. I also decided to put a full-on series of traffic jams in the city. I also tackle larger projects that are a little more abstract. This is an all-wooden conveyor belt that carries these storm clouds around and around and around. I'm known as this cardboard artist, but this is all wood. Very much into observation. This is a large Dobsonian telescope that I built recently that everyone wants to know if it works. It does not work, but in each of these, it's mostly built out of plywood and paper, but in each of these areas to look, there are videos. I'm very interested in taking drawing and sculpture and combining them into two things. Bringing them together, so it's not just some paintings on the wall or some drawings on the wall and some sculpture, but trying to bring them together. So there's animations inside of that. All the way down to smaller objects that are also based in observation and just made mostly of recycled materials. This camera, and I've made about 20 of these, is pretty much made with the material that is the cover of your booklet that you all have around your neck. It's this chipboard or cardboard. Other more epic projects like this printing press. I have a father that owns a small newspaper, so I grew up around these web presses and just decided that I had to build one. It's an object that not many people know about. Everyone reads newspapers and magazines, but it's very rare that you actually know the machine that thing comes from. I end up building this press, and then I have this press. Oh my gosh, I have the power. I am the press. I can say whatever I want to say. So I'm thinking. So I couldn't figure it out though. I felt like nothing I could put and run through this was going to, whatever I put through there was going to make or break the piece, and I just couldn't think of what to do. So. Like most things, I just decided to get busy. I couldn't think of anything to draw, so I just started drawing every single thing that I own on the planet. And this is a giant drawing, and I started at the top, and you can see I went through art supplies first, and then I went into the bathroom, and then I went through the clothes, and I opened up every single toolbox that I owned, and my car is even in there, and there's no attention paid to scale. It's all in there. And with today's Facebook pages and Twitter accounts and Instagramming and the way that all of us are just pushing all of our personal information out into the world constantly and oversharing, I just felt like after making this drawing, because I had no idea what to draw, it turned out to be the perfect drawing to run through the press. One question I kept getting is, where are your clothes? Where are your clothes? And I kept saying, well, they're represented by this armoire right here. But that just didn't seem good enough for anyone, so I drew all my clothes. And a lot of interesting things happen because I really never wear red, but I have a bunch of red things, and I thought that was strange. But it also seemed like a cool drawing to get back into color with. And then that led to me convincing my girlfriend to draw all of her clothes. Which proved much more interesting with the bras and the panties and the jewelry and the patterns on the clothing. So after this series of work, and I was thinking about all the possessions I have, it started dawning on me, or it dawned on me, what would I, when the disaster strikes, when the earthquake hits, when I'm living in Los Angeles, so when we fall into the ocean, or when the dirty bomb goes off or whatever, what would I do? What do you do when you can only grab one thing, So I designed a survival vest out of paper that should be implemented in every home. And when the disaster strikes, you grab the vest. It's got communications on it. It's just, the idea is that everything's there to survive for at least, a month maybe. And this is all, I also work at an art school, so this piece is entirely built with things that art students have left behind. They finish a drawing tablet, the very last piece of that drawing tablet is chipboard. And so I would just, that stuff's laying all around, and I just try to make extraordinary things with very ordinary objects, or ordinary materials. The headphones on that piece led to an interest in music. I've always had an interest in music, but it started me thinking about the objects we use to listen and record music. So there's a boombox. This thing is hard to see in a photograph, but the other side is exactly the same. So I call this piece Boom Boom. And then I built like 3 or 4 tapes, and then I thought, whoever has this radio is not going to have 3 or 4 tapes. So I built, you can't tell, but I built 100 cassette tapes for this piece. That led to an interest in, more and more of an interest in music. I did an entire year's project where I just built musical instruments. I built a one-man band. I'm sure some of you guys have seen the movie Mary Poppins. It seems a little cheesy, but when I was a little kid, I was obsessed with Dick Van Dyke and the one-man band and this guy with the chimney sweep job that he hated, but he could draw on chalk and jump inside the chalk drawings. And I started thinking about an artist as a one-man band. When you're getting started and you don't have a gallery, you're the marketer, you're the email guy, you're the shop tech, you're the concept guy. It's just, you always kind of feel like you're the one-man band. So I did build this one-man band rig, and then started thinking about all the objects that if you were carrying this one-man band, what would you be holding? So violins were probably the best project that came out of that. But here are some other things that I built. Along with that, there's cornets and banjos, and there's an accordion. So I'm the type of artist that one project just leads to the next. I don't know what to do unless I'm just doing something, and then that leads to the next thing. So I think that's something that we can all learn from, is just to get started on whatever you do. Just get going on it, and good things will happen. Okay, so while I'm a pretty selfish guy, just in my studio working, I also try to do some outreach, and that is basically trying to get everyone to be like me. So I really love to do workshops, and I'm doing one workshop here Sunday and Monday at the Press Building that you can learn more about on page 40 of your book. But this is a workshop that I do with children. This is at the Architecture and Design Museum in Los Angeles, where we teach them the strength of the triangle. We build a geodesic dome, and then the kids get in and paint the inside and the outside. We bring in a bunch of musical instruments. The acoustics inside of these things are incredible, even built out of cardboard. We drop microphones in through the top, and then they just have a jam session. Then we take them individually. They all get to record their favorite silly sound. And then I have friends that understand way more about music and editing than I do. And we put that together into just a crazy mix for them to take home and bother their parents with, I guess, for the rest of the time. Other projects that I've been involved with recently are these mask building workshops. Pretty crazy one. that ended up evolving. Oh, here's another great one. But these, oh my gosh, 30 seconds left? Okay, that evolved into a project. The mask workshop evolved into this project where I decided to build an entire suit for myself. That evolved into a workshop that I want to show you a video of right now. This is the workshop. Take these forks in the road. They're working with this paper, and you kind of see it kind of awkwardly being clanked around, and it took about an hour for people to realize what they can do with cardboard. You just see that energy flip. Pretty cool workshop. There's a movie that'll be out. We're filming a movie. It's actually done, but it'll be online soon. There's a still. But I guess I'm over time, so this is another project, though, back to this city thing. I'm just going to go really fast. I built this city. It keeps going and getting crazier. I'm not going to show the video. Or no, let me show this one video. Just one video. It's quick. This will show you guys how exciting it's going to be to come to the press building and hang out with me on Monday and Sunday and Monday. And I'll end with that. This was at TEDxEQChCh in Palm Springs, and it's also where I met Kyla and was able to be invited to come to this amazing event. Everyone's invited to come build the objects of their imagination and just build a church, build a school, build a piece of public art, make trees, put boats in. We're not recreating Christ Church, we just are interpreting it. I have a few other slides, but I'm out. Thank you guys very much.